Now remember, these talks are to give you information that you can use away from karate, not just the physical stuff that you're doing when you practice your techniques. All right? Now this little sequence of talks we're going to go over, I've entitled Teach Your Parents Well. This is how you can raise happy parents. And I know most people think of that for a minute and they think, what does that mean? Well, here's what you want to think about. Your parents right now are raising children, but at the same time, you children are raising parents. You got to think about that sometimes. You see, I've got children, and when my first child came along, I didn't know anything about being a parent. I hardly knew anything, and I was a white belt. And I had to learn step by step. When he cried, I learned something. When he was hungry, I learned something. He really helped to teach me. All right, 12 years later, my last one came along. And when she came along, I was a lot better. Wasn't perfect. I still make mistakes, and I always will. But the things what I try to do is when I make those mistakes, learn from them, and then try to be real better next time. Okay? And this one here now, that was 16 years ago she came along. She's driving now, and I've still learned more since she was born. So see if you think about it, there are things that you're doing that are helping your parents to become better parents. And if you can help them to be happy, what I always tell people is, if parents are happy, you usually have a happy home. All right, I can remember back when I was little, and when my parents were happy, things were fun in the home. And if people were angry or upset about something, it wasn't as much fun. All right? So your job as children is to help your parents to be the best that they can be. Okay? Now, how do we do that? How do we figure out how to make parents happy? Well, these researchers did this neat survey. They asked parents all over the country, what behaviors would you like to see most in your kids? What's it going to be? What will make parents happy? Is it mowing the lawn? Is it helping with the groceries? Is it doing the dishes? These researchers wanted to know. So what they did is they did all this stuff, and what I've done is I went through it and I picked the 6 most important behaviors that parents are looking for in their children. And today we're going to discuss number 1. All right? The number 1 behavior that you can do to help your parents be happy, to help make a happy home, is honesty. Honesty. Now when you look up honesty, when you go online and look that up, you're going to see all different kinds of definitions. There's all kinds of things that describe honesty. But the one thing that I found over and over again was to be truthful, to tell the truth. And that's not easy. It takes a lot of courage to tell the truth, especially if you did something wrong and you kind of get caught. But telling the truth is really always the best thing that you can do. We're going to all make mistakes. There's no way we can keep that from happening. But if we learn from those mistakes and work better next time, we won't make as many as we get older and older. And that's really cool. Okay, and we're set for a video? Now, what's going to play, this is going to seem like an old movie, it really isn't, but she's going to say, does this dress make my backside look fat or heavy, something like that. Okay, so that's what she's saying at the beginning of this. And look at how difficult this man, a great man, depicted here, has a difficult time. Boy,
we don't ever want to hear that, right?
Of course, of course. There was a cartoon I was told about with 2 dinosaurs, and one's wearing a dress, and the one in the dress says to the other one, does this make me look fat? And underneath the thing was how dinosaurs went extinct. So, yes, yes. So that's how that can happen. Now the problem is if we don't have that courage and we do lie, one lie can turn into another lie to turn into another lie. And let's just listen to this little story, what happens to this little lady on the way to school. On her way to school, Chelsea realizes that she forgot to bring extra lunch money for ice cream. So she decides to tell her teacher that she forgot her lunch money, and then she'd get a voucher for lunch. Then she can use one of the $2 she has to buy ice cream. Now her friend Amanda says that that would be lying, but Chelsea says, no, that's really just borrowing. So Chelsea gets the voucher, but later in the lunchroom, the teacher sees her eating ice cream, and she asks her where she got the money to buy it. Well, Chelsea panics and she tells another lie. She says, well, my friend Amanda, she gave me the money so I could get ice cream. All right, they get back to class, and then the teacher says, everybody, Alan, one of the other students in the class, he's lost a dollar bill at the lunchroom. Did anybody see one or find one? And everyone said, no, ma'am, we didn't find anything. Now, later on, Chelsea's working at her homework on her desk. The teacher comes over to see how she's doing, and the dollar bill fell out of her desk. So the teacher looked at that and said, did you take Alan's dollar? Where did you get that dollar? You didn't have any money. Look at the hole that Chelsea dug for herself. It takes a ladder to get out of a hole that deep. You see how one lie can turn into another lie that can turn into another one. And before you know it, it's so big that it's hard to get out of. That's why it's kind of nice at the beginning to have courage, and even though you may have made a mistake, you say, yeah, I did that. One of the things when my children were growing up that I absolutely love to hear is, oh my God, look what I did. And the other one would say, that's okay if you tell Dad the truth, you know he's not going to be mad at you. I'll never forget that. So that's something to think about. Now, why do people lie? Why do we do that when telling the truth leads to so many better things? All right? Well, I've looked at that too, and there are three main reasons why people tend to lie. All right? First of all, to get something that they wouldn't have otherwise. All right, now, but think of things. If you've got to lie or cheat or steal to get something, you probably don't need it. Okay, maybe just something that you want. It may not even mean anything to you in a few days or weeks. Okay, you can't always get what you want. In the immortal words of the 20th century poet Mick Jagger, you can look that up online when you get home too, you can't always get what you want. But if you try, sometimes you just may find you get what you need, and you don't have to cheat and steal and lie to get it. Number two reason, they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. If this hasn't happened to you yet, it will. Somebody's going to be wearing something, and they're going to say, does this make me look fat or heavy, or does my hat look nude? And you're going to look at it and think, oh my God. But you want to tell the truth. You want to be honest. You know, honey, I love you. You know that. There's absolutely no way that I would say anything to intentionally hurt you. But I've got to be honest with you that that dress does make you look just a little bit heavy.
And you've lived through that?
Oh my God. I think a lot of us have at some point. What's neat is those words, they come to you as you get a little bit older. Because see, you're going to make some mistakes to get to the point where everything sort of begins coming together. See, when I was little your age and I was doing karate, I didn't know that stuff. But now that I'm on this end, I'm telling you, you will get to this end. Just listen to these things and try to live them as best you can. The last thing why people lie, to try to get admiration from their friends or from adults. And I got to tell you something. If you want admiration from me or any of our staff or your moms and dads, be honest. Lying isn't going to make you in any way seem a little bit cooler to us. And if you've got to be lying and cheating and stealing to impress your friends, you got to think about maybe getting some new friends. And I know that's so hard to think of when you're little, but think of it. If you stay with friends that want you to steal and lie to get something, what's going to happen when you get older? Is it going to be stealing cars, robbing banks? Where does it end? You see, it can end right now today if you think to yourself, I'm not going to let people make me do something that I don't want to do that I know is wrong. I'm going to be honest. And the more honest I can be, the happier my parents are going to be, my teachers are going to be, and really your true friends are going to be. Because your true friends are not going to try to get you into trouble. They'll try to help you stay out of it. So be honest. It's one of the most important life lessons. Give yourselves a hand. That was good.
And I really enjoy this component of it, and it's different than other martial arts studios that we've interviewed and everything, this component of it. But I do think even the mantra in the beginning where the kids kind of take that oath of, what they're doing for themselves and when to say no and when to recognize that if it does harm to them, that they don't want any part of that. I think that's great.